Hello everybody, my name is Alex Zapp. I'm the founder and CEO of ZAPTEST. Today we are reviewing our enterprise automation solution. A few words about who we are. We've been in the business for over 20 years, first as software testing, but now as a full automation solution. Our mission is to unify DevOps and BizOps automation processes within the enterprises. I'm a member of the Forbes Technology Council and share my insights and vision for software automation with the global Forbes community through my publications. ZAP is working closely with leading tech analysts, discussing the future of software automation. We're positioned as a full-stack cross-platform test and RPA solution, and we offer unlimited licenses of our software for our customers and partners, making automation fast and cost-efficient. The company is US-based with a partner ecosystem worldwide. ZAPTEST can automate any software UI or API. We can meet any development schedule and we can accommodate any skill level, whether you prefer programming with or without code. The automation process is made up of several different phases. We automate end-user actions, and our advantage is we can address it in a cross-platform fashion. So, if you need to go through the process to different permutations, browsers, or devices, we only need to automate it once, and then we can execute it exactly where we need to. This is what we mean when we have a one-script technology. ZAPTEST addresses both aspects of software automation, tactical and strategic. From a tactical perspective, ZAPTEST automates end-user actions and competes with other functional testing and RPA automation tools. But with the difference that any automation module or script created with ZAPTEST by default is cross-platform oriented, and from a strategic perspective, we offer a lot more than typical tools do. The automation modules used for testing can be repurposed for business or operational tasks. Sign up, log in, any workflow we test against. Once it's automated, a bot can repeat these routine tasks while people can focus on others. ZAPTEST can automate all phases of automation in the enterprise. We have our Doc Studio that auto-generates test documentation. This way, your team won't need to write manual test cases to describe the end-user process. The script that we create can auto-generate a description into textual documentation. This can save a lot of time. We also offer parallel execution through the multi-run studio. If you need to run the same procedure through multiple automation environments, you can group all environments together and run it only once. To support parallel device execution, we also offer a device host management system. It's a cloud-based system that allows us to manage and govern all the operational infrastructure. And that encompasses the front end, but we also support back-end automation through APIs as well. In some areas, that's all that's required. But in others, when you'd like to support UI with API automation, you can do that as well. We also have technology for performance testing, so you can check the scalability of the overall system that you use for testing purposes and all that can be done as a part of DevOps automation. We are famous for our visual object recognition concept using computer vision. It's a technology that we developed over a decade ago, and it allows you to automate your software cross-platform on common operating systems. This gives you an opportunity to execute automated scripts against any permutation of any application under automation in any environment. But most importantly, you deploy your automation at a very high speed and low maintenance. This is a very important aspect of any software automation solution. As a matter of fact, we were ranked the #1 technology for testing in RPA by a number of publications. Another unique advantage of ZAPTEST is our early or shift-left automation. One of the main challenges of the software automation industry is time to market, especially surrounding agile DevOps processes. Any test automation team is at least one release behind developers with automation readiness, and because any modern automation tool on the market only allows for automation against the live application. Given the fact that automation by itself takes time, automation teams can perform automated regression testing that is always delayed. But with ZAPTEST, you can do software automation on mock-ups of any type, either formal wireframes or hand drawings like you see in the picture. Therefore, you can start test automation right at the application design phase and have 100% QA and software automation time within the SDLC or the software development lifecycle. Our AI Copilot uses generative AI to help you develop scripts and help with various programming tasks using natural language prompts. As Gartner points out, the advent of generative AI made it easier to generate code. That's a very important aspect of a software engineer's job. In addition, optimization and automation of the other parts of the software development lifecycle will be an important trend going forward as product teams push themselves to ship faster. In waterfall development, there are historically two main challenges. First, there is a gap between manual testers, or SMEs, subject matter experts that write documentation candidates for automation, and the automators, since they don't always understand the requirements. And another challenge is the fact that automation documentation development is a time-consuming process. With ZAPTEST, manual testers or subject matter experts, instead of writing automation documentation, can simply use our screen recorder to develop video scenarios, explaining what an automated script should look like. An automator will then use this video scenario to follow during scripting. It also offers a narration feature. You can even generate automation objects in case there is no access to the live application under automation, and the script development looks like how it does in the previous case, which is script, document, and then execute. ZAPTEST further enhances automation capabilities with WebDriver integration. Using the WebDriver Explorer, users can efficiently define web elements and seamlessly integrate them into their scripts, combining WebDriver actions with traditional UI steps for comprehensive automation coverage. In fact, ZAPTEST is the only automation tool on the market today that allows these three approaches to test automation: through the live application, through mockups, or through video scenarios. In contrast to other tools which only offer one way, which is through a live application. ZAPTEST supports agile waterfall or any mixed development software automation process. Since documentation is a time-consuming process and ZAP's motto is fast automation, we start right away by scripting using either mockups or video scenarios. Once the script is developed, we can generate documentation with one click. This approach allows us to eliminate the need for separate documentation development and maintenance and save many man-hours. It can also keep automation documentation in compliance with the software automation framework. All this is done while the application is still under development. In fact, ZAPTEST is the only tool that offers 100% software test automation time, since you can start test script development at the design base using mockups. With this approach, you'll always be ahead of the developers with software automation readiness. Therefore, they'll deliver more automation with fewer man-hours. And depending on your automation requirements, you'll continually increase productivity, reduce the cost of automation, and optimize your return on investment. When the application is released, we can then execute one ZAPTEST script across any automation environment in parallel at once, and therefore save a lot of time for the automation execution cycle. ZAPTEST is a Windows-based standalone application, which provides data security within your organization. It allows automating external operating systems through ZAP Viewer remote control. The application is based on multiple studios where one script is the core ZAPTEST studio, allowing us to script end-user stats. One script lets you automate the testing of any UI-based application. It allows for a modular architecture where any ZAPTEST module or script can then be called within another module. Each ZAPTEST automation module can be developed three ways: using ZAP Object Engine, ZOE, based on computer vision technology, WebDriver using shared components, and the API calls within the same script. This way, you can automate any task despite the scenario complexity or the environment, including any OS, desktop, web, mobile, user interface, or API. ZAPTEST offers flexibility to use scripted, low-code, icon-driven, or even no-code using AI-based prompt engineering options within ZAPTEST Copilot. The Rec Studio records end-user actions through Application UI with the option of audio narration. This way, it improves collaboration between SMEs and automators by providing knowledge transfer of automation scenarios, and allowing to generate automation objects to be used for constructing a script without access to a live application under automation. Moving on from there, another ZAPTEST component is Doc. that converts ZAPTEST scripts into a plain text document. You can convert it into a common format, develop your own custom harness, or you can integrate with any application lifecycle management system where you can store it in complete ZAPTEST modules with the script documentation and execution results. mRun is where multi-run allows for the execution of one script across all test environments, mobile and conventional workstations, and even scanners in parallel at once. This way, users save a lot of time on automation execution and can deliver automation always just in time. Farm is a software-only technology offering ZAPTEST users a private cloud. It's a sister technology and offered to ZAPTEST Enterprise users complimentary and unlimited. Users can install Farm on their prem and can use it to create a remote control test environment on mobile and conventional workstations using their own hardware. Farm can be used for automation with ZAPTEST, or even for mobile application deployment. Besides functional UI testing, we also offer API automation as well. We support REST, SOAP, Open API, GET, POST, authentication, custom headers, attachments, and parameterization. API steps may be combined with UI steps for a dual integrity validation between user and the system interfaces. The load component extends ZAPTEST functionality to enable performance testing of an API server infrastructure using standard ZAPTEST 1 scripts. We're able to connect to multiple remote generators using Farm and then perform a stress test of an application. All we need to do is perform a proxy reporting of the business process on the application under test, and then use that script to run our very own load test. Afterwards, ZAPTEST performs an extremely comprehensive root cause analysis of the system under load. ZAPTEST also offers enterprise-grade robotic process automation. For business professionals interested in automating back-office operations, our RPA also supports the same level of cross-application execution and full input and output data parameterization. This way you can repurpose your automation framework from DevOps to BizOps, from testing to RPA and vice versa. ZAPTEST's automation capabilities elevate your automation efforts to a center of excellence, seamlessly delivering automation across all departments for DevOps and BizOps. This transformation aligns perfectly with industry standards and best practices, as recognized by industry leaders like Gartner. The hyper-automation of digital transformation theory states that if something can be automated within the enterprise, then it should be automated, and ZAPTEST follows through with that promise by providing automation solutions for all levels of the organization. ZAPTEST offers comprehensive automation engineering, which is of the highest demand in the industry today. Certified ZAP experts will assist your team with ZAPTEST implementation, best practices, and enablement of the product and the process. ZAPTEST has a very high adoption rate in the market, and here's some of the main factors. We can automate any application, we can meet any development schedule, and we can accommodate any team member's skill set. But most importantly, the reason why the enterprise industry adopts ZAPTEST, despite the fact they've been using other tools for many years, is efficiency. One of the main challenges of the automation industry is time to market, and ZAPTEST is considered the single most efficient solution on the market. That was a general overview of the tool. Now let's demonstrate the software in action. ZAPTEST is designed to support automation of any testing process, agile, waterfall, or any other software application development testing. There are 4 main approaches to automate with ZAPTEST: using an application under test, using application UI mockups, using a recorded video scenario, or using an application's API layer. Our first approach is against the live application under test. In this example, we will use the industry common approach of developing test automation using a live application. To do this, we are going to use the scan GUI functionality within ZAPTEST. Then we'll select the interface of the opened application under test. As you can see, ZAPTEST scanned the UI and created a view with the scanned objects. At this point, we can select the desired objects that we need for automation and delete the rest. Once we have all the desired objects, we are going to create a script to perform the end user steps. Our AI-powered Copilot uses generative AI to assist you in script development. We can provide a straightforward description of our actions to Copilot, and it will generate well-formatted steps ready to be inserted into the script. Additionally, Copilot can be utilized for various programming tasks, script updates, and to generate test data. It can interpret instructions written in multiple languages. ZAPTEST offers a scriptless test development approach for beginners, as well as scripted approach for advanced users who may choose VBS script or JavaScript for writing their code. Once the script is ready, we will execute it and review the results. Along with computer vision technology, ZAPTEST also supports WebDriver and maintains a shareable collection of web elements. We use the WebDriver Explorer to create a repository of these web elements, defining them using various find criteria. The WebDriver Explorer provides a straightforward method to initialize a web session. Then we can employ the inspector to automatically locate and add new web elements, or to verify the presence of a web element on a web page. Defining steps for web elements is now more accessible with ZAPTEST's support for WebDriver methods, along with its unique functionalities. In our scripts, we seamlessly combine WebDriver steps with standard UI steps, facilitating the support of complex automation frameworks. In our second example, we will create a test script using application mockups. This approach is useful to advanced test automation readiness and is generally used to support testing for agile development. To create a script using mockups, we will follow a process similar to the previous example, but instead of scanning a live application, we will be scanning a mockup. As a result of each scan, we are getting a new view in the GUI map with all objects present. At this point, we will be following the exact same steps as in the live application example, and we'll create a script using the desired objects that we collected from our mockups. Once the script is ready, we will add one more step, to invoke the application under test. Then we will execute the script and review the results. Our third approach is to automate testing with ZAPTEST using a recorded video scenario. This approach is useful to support the waterfall development process or any process that requires collaboration and knowledge transfer between application subject matter experts and test automation specialists. To create the script, we will follow the steps as a subject matter expert and record the video scenario by using the screen recorder. To do this, we will navigate to the Rec Studio on ZAPTEST and click on the record screen button. As you can see, ZAPTEST invokes the recorder toolbar to control the recording process. To record the scenario, we simply need to manually perform the end user steps following the test case and stop the recording. Once the recording is finished, ZAPTEST creates a full recorded video and auto-generates application views. At this point, we will begin acting as a test automation specialist and will develop the script using the recorded video. Using any video frame, we can create additional views if needed. Once we have all the views, we will click the Generate Views button in the upper left corner of the scenario pane. As you can see, ZAPTEST generates a list of test objects and displays them in GUI map. Now we can create and execute a test script using a process similar to the previous examples. As in our first two examples, you can see the results after the script has been executed. Our last approach is to use the ZAPTEST API functionality to test SOAP or REST services. Web service testing steps can be combined with regular UI testing. In ZAPTEST, we will use API Explorer to define a server object. All available API methods are loaded from the WSDL file. We will select the method from the list and use the API Studio to customize the request attributes and define validation points. In this example, we will use a combination of API and UI steps to get our company name value and use it for a Google search. We will run the test and review the results. In addition, we can use the ZAPTEST doc functionality to auto-generate test documentation coverage of any given test script in any of the testing approaches that we've seen here. To generate the documentation, we need to click the Generate button located in the doc module. The doc module provides controls to edit the generated documentation, to save it to a file under various file formats, or to export it to any of the supported test management systems. Any test script developed using any testing approach can be used in ZAPTEST for parallel execution. To do this, we will navigate to the mRun tab, connect to all the devices that need to be part of the testing effort, and click on the Run button. ZAPTEST uses the multi-runs mode to execute the same test on all connected devices in parallel. After the parallel test run is complete, we will open the test report and review the execution results for each device. ZAPTEST also offers RPA, Robotic Process Automation, a solution that automates business processes within the company, transforming routine tasks into efficient workflows. Typically, test automation and RPA processes operate in separate silos. However, with ZAPTEST, any build created for testing can be repurposed for RPA. In this example, we demonstrate automating the submission of invoices on our web portal using their original PDF versions as input. We utilize a modular design approach. For the middle part, we employ the script we developed for website login in our previous example. The script run results include detailed step descriptions and critical validation points to ensure the integrity of a complex RPA process. ZAPTEST is proud to present load testing technology. The load component extends ZAPTEST functionality to enable performance testing of a server infrastructure. Now, ZAPTEST users can utilize the same API-based scripts for both functional and performance testing. A test script can be created either manually or via a recording process. Manual test script creation uses traditional API development utilities, API Explorer, and API Studio. This approach primarily applies to testing SOAP and REST web services, when users can obtain all required details from a web service provider. Alternatively, test scripts can be generated automatically by capturing and processing clients' communication. ZAPTEST provides the API proxy recording tool to record live traffic during users' interaction with the browser or any other client application that uses HTTP protocol. Users can configure filters to log only desired requests and define transactions to group logical steps during a recording session. Once the recording is complete, the recorded request can be analyzed and filtered in the editor tool. Users can select which requests will be added as test steps or defined as API objects. Auto-generated test scripts can be further enhanced with input data parameterization, dynamic values correlation, and rich logic. ZAPTEST handles web session authentication automatically. Any additional correlation can be done with the help of the Correlation Manager tool. Using this tool, users can define correlation rules that will be automatically applied during script generation. Once the test scripts are ready, they can be used in a load testing scenario. The load is generated by running multiple concurrent virtual users. The load can be scaled up by using distributed load generating capacity. Users can define various load parameters, configure the behavior of a user group, enable SLA settings for pass-fail criteria, control parameterized test data distribution. They can include multiple test scripts and remote generators for complex frameworks and monitor performance statistics live. Comprehensive test results include data and graphs that help to reveal weak points in the system under test. As you can see, ZAPTEST can support any test automation development process that uses Agile, Waterfall, or any other software application development testing by automating against live application, mock-ups, video scenarios, or API components. Please navigate to zaptest.com and start your test automation today. Now I'm going to wrap up the presentation by reviewing some of the business aspects of the tool. ZAPTEST is offered as an unlimited license subscription for the entire customer. Once you're on board with us, you receive unlimited licenses of the enterprise solution for the entire organization. In addition, ZAPTEST appoints full-time complimentary certified ZAP expert who is working alongside with your team to expedite implementation and acts as a first-tier support for the entire organization, advising on the ZAPTEST functionality and best practices. We are offering your company 6 months no-cost opt-out terms. This means you can cancel ZAPTEST Enterprise subscription within 180 days without paying. This is an unprecedented proposition on the market that lets your organization evaluate the full functionality to make sure ZAPTEST is the perfect solution for all your automation needs.
Thank you, and we invite you to consider ZAPTEST for your enterprise software automation.